The joy of living comes from within. And I'm hoping you can hear me now. All right. You don't control outside situations, but you do control what you think about them and how you let them affect you. Yeah, it's true. Hi, I'm Jan. This is 316 Yoga. This is your yoga from home. It's a 1 hour long practice. I practice every single day, and I invite you to join me. Our yoga is free for anybody and everybody, so tell your friends about it. Today's yoga, our Thursday and Sunday practices, are a restorative practice. It's 1 hour long. Stick around as long as you want. 10 minutes will do you some good too. But it's a practice where you take fewer poses for a longer period of time to rest and restore in your body. As the bottom of our screen says, do what is right for your body. Do what feels good. If it doesn't feel good, back out of it. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. If you are in pain, certainly don't do it. Back out of it. Take it to a lesser percentage or don't do it at all. You decide what works for you. Just don't overthink it. But if you take the time to be on your mat and just be here, you'll be better off for the rest of the day. You'll be better off of your mat. And that's what the yoga is all about. Okay. Hardest part is to still your mind and not overthink it. So don't overthink it. Bring your props to your practice. We're going to have today for a restorative practice, we use a bolster, a couple of yoga blocks, a blanket, I got a little towel, and have your water nearby too. So the word I'd like you to think about as you practice today is leisurely. Here you go, leisurely. It just means unhurried, without a rush, without haste, and being slow and deliberate. Best way to do that is with your breath. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and a big sighing breath out through your mouth. Now lock in a stress number. Do a quick little body-mind scan and lock in that stress number. Scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 10. Where are you? Remember that number and we'll come back to it at the end. All right, so for our props today, let's come into a child's pose. I'm going to set up the props this way. You can see I've got the block down here at its stable height, and I've got the towel on top of it, just a little cushioning for my head. I'm going to put my blanket at the bottom of my mat because I'm going to rest my feet on it. I'm going to get really comfortable. And then I'm going to take the bolster and I'm going to place it vertically on my mat, and I'm going to bring my knees up to about 1/3 of the height of the mat, so I can rest my chest and my pelvis and my belly on the bolster. So I've got this blank area right here between the top of the bolster and the block, and I'm going to rest my forehead onto the block. I'm going to spread my knees wide and settle in here. Now this pose is going to be 5 minutes long, and that seems like a long time. It is a long time, but it's going to go by quickly because you're going to breathe deep breaths and you're not going to worry about something. You know, when you worry about things, does it make it any better? No, it's just churning in your belly. Just put down that stress and come to peace. Let all the thoughts go. Adjust your bolster so, you know, your whole spine feels like it's resting comfortably, nice and even into your bolster. Head is resting on the block, and the blanket feels good under the feet. Arms, however you like. Breathe in and sigh it out. Let it go. As I said earlier, the hardest part is to still your mind. Try to let all the thoughts go. They'll invade you probably hundreds of times in your practice. Just acknowledge them and come back to your breath. Always come back to your breath. Deep breath in, big sighing breath out, and then close your lips and breathe in and out of your nose. This will allow you to remain focused as best as humanly possible, to stay focused on your breath. Feel how good the pose feels when you take it to the depth of the exhale. Deep breaths in and deep, slow breaths out.
Just be in the present moment. Don't think about the past. Don't think about what you're going to do next. Today, all that matters is right now. And the restoration you're finding for your body through your deep breathing. Shoulders are relaxed. Spine is long and neutral. Don't hold on. If you feel tightness somewhere, let it go. Release and surrender. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. This is your child's pose. You can stay here longer if you like. It's such a comfortable pose. It's great for your mind to just still and rest. Stay if you want. I'm going to move into a broken wing. Good for the shoulders. If you'd like to join me, press on up. Come off of your bolster, just place it aside. Place your block aside too. And come down to your belly. Once on your belly, we're going to take our right arm and extend it to about shoulder height. I'm going to set a 3-minute timer for this because this one's a challenge. All right, extend your right arm long. Bend your left arm. Place the left hand under your left shoulder and then roll onto your right hip. Arm can be at shoulder height. Bring it down a little bit if that feels better, or put a bend in your elbow if you like that. Maybe that feels good for you. I like to keep it straight and at shoulder height. Legs can be long, bent a little bit into a fetal position, whichever works for you today. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out and settle in. Use that left hand to control the intensity of the pose. You're going to push a little more into your left hand, and that'll let you roll more onto the shoulder if you like that. A little bend in the knees kind of feels comfortable. Soften in the jaws, soften in the face, and just imagine greater space in that right shoulder. Maybe you can push a little more into your left hand as you deepen the stretch a little bit more for these last 30 seconds or so. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Stay here longer in your broken wing if it's speaking to you. I'm going to move to the other side and do my broken wing with my left arm extended. So just slowly come out of it, roll onto your belly, take it nice and slowly, and just enjoy the journey of getting there. And then all you got to do is tee out your left arm, bend the right arm, roll onto your left hip, push into your right hand. Adjust your legs however you like. Maybe they go long, maybe you put them in a little bit of a fetal position. And you know, other days, sometimes when we do our broken wing, I say, take your top leg and place the sole of the foot in front of the extended leg or behind. That really intensifies it. But because we're staying here for 3 minutes, I think you might just want to keep them long or put them in a fetal position. Totally good, totally fine. So come into what feels good for you. And I'll start the timer. Our broken wing pose will set us up really nicely for our fish pose in a little bit. So be comfortable. Come back to your breath, still your mind. And just let that space in your shoulder open up. Get your mind out of your shoulder. I think a lot of times our mind holds us back, where we think, oh, it's tight, can't do it anymore, can't hold it, can't do it. Get your mind out of your shoulder and just substitute breath in the shoulder. Think of space in the shoulder. Don't let your mind limit your body here. Your role here is to just breathe and let the body feel good however, wherever it wants to go. Maybe it's a little more of a push into that right hand, or maybe it's a little less. Listen to your body and don't hurt. Take a deep breath in And a deep breath out. And if you really are liking your pentacle and want to stay longer, go for it. I'm going to bring my left arm down by my side. Then I'm going to roll over onto my back. Take your brief pentacle pose here. So in your pentacle pose, arms go up high overhead, legs spread wide. Just a brief little pentacle here as you enjoy perhaps a little more mobility that you found in your shoulders. And adjust your arms. If this overhead capital letter X shape in the arms and of your body doesn't feel good, bring your arms down a little bit. Just do what feels right. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Pentacle pose is said to be a resetting pose. It kind of aligns everything back to the midline of your body. And it allows you to just reset and restart, recalibrate, reinvigorate. Just come back to a good starting point for you. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. This is your pentacle pose. Stay in it longer if you wish. I'm going to move into that supported fish pose next. You can join me if you like. I'm going to float my arms down by my side. I'm going to press on up. And I'm going to find my blanket and the bolster. I'm going to bring the bolster onto the mat vertically. This pose feels so good for the chest and the new mobility in the shoulders. So what you're going to do is scoot your bottom up toward the bottom of the bolster. You can bring your eye shade too, or your towel. Come to recline and place the blanket anywhere you like, but have your bottom on the mat. Don't let it be up in the air. Recline on your bolster. Use your eye shade or your towel to cover your eyes. Your head is nice and supported here. Not like the fish pose we did yesterday on the blocks. All right, so shoulders open. Let them hang back. Act as if you're kind of in a reverse hug. Act as if your shoulders are hugging that bolster. Oh, maybe bring your elbows down first. See how that feels. Let your arms float down to the earth. Adjust them to whatever feels good for you. Maybe they're down by your side. Maybe you snow angel the arms out, tee them out, whatever feels good. Maybe you encourage your forearms down. I don't know what feels good for you. We're all different, and every day is certainly different. Just explore what feels great for you here. Legs can be long on your mat. Knees can be bent and the soles of the feet can be on your mat. That feels good on your low back. You could also bring the soles of your feet together to touch and open your knees wide to the sides of your room. Arms teed out, however is comfortable. Imagine for a moment that your chest is wide open. You've got lots of space to breathe here, lots of space for all the organs to function. As your chest is lifted, your heart is lifted to the sky. And all you got to do is breathe deeply here. Soften the area between your eyebrows. And enjoy this very wonderful, huge chest opening pose. Deepen your breath and focus only on it. Big inhales have your belly rising up to the sky. And big exhales. To the extent of the exhales, take it as deep as you can and feel the shoulders melt back even more into the bolster as you take a complete exhale. Take your deep breath in and a deep breath out. Staying in fish pose for a longer period of time, even like 20 minutes, which you could do today, is a great pose. You just feel so refreshed after being in it. So if you want to stay longer in your fish pose, you're set up, stay here, enjoy it. I'm going to come out of this fish pose, and I'll tell you where I'm going next so you can decide if you want to join me or not. I'm going to do that wide-legged forward fold like we did yesterday. So if you'd like to come out of your fish pose, send your legs back to that natural extended position, and then just roll off of your bolster one side or the other. Once you've rolled off, take a breath here, and then press on up to a seated position, or float on up. It's a restorative day after all. Float on up. So what I'm going to do for the wide-legged forward fold, you can do this any way you like to get it all set up. So first of all, maybe grab your blocks and your bolster and your towel, whatever works. Spread your legs wide and bring the setup in between your legs. So you can have the two blocks at whatever height you like. You could put your bolster onto it, maybe your blanket too, whatever height works, and then hinge forward. And the key here is to have your head resting. So it doesn't matter how high you have to stack it up, rest your head. We're going to stay here for 5 minutes. Now the other day when we did this pose, we weren't in it nowhere nearly as long as that. But it was just our typical, normal little practice where we just take a nice forward fold. But you'll notice when you stay here for this long period of time, 5 minutes, clock's ticking, you're going to fold into it more gradually, more comfortably, and you're going to get lower than you've ever thought you could go. So close your eyes. With each inhale, imagine your spine lengthening. And with each exhale, let your belly button go back towards your spine as you imagine your chest coming closer and closer to the earth. As time progresses in the pose, when it is right for you, doesn't matter when that is, slowly start to remove your layers so you can allow the chest to rest a little more closely to the earth. I'll let you know when the 5 minutes is up. Take a deep breath in. And one more deep breath out. When you're ready, slowly walk your hands on the ground up closer to your body so you can bring your shoulders up over your hips. All right, a nice, long, wide-legged forward fold. Now you can stay longer in that pose if you want to, but I'm going to move on and do our sleeping swan. It's half pigeon pose, same pose, but in a restorative practice we call it sleeping swan. So you might want to bring your bolster to the top of your mat. You might want to bring a block down with you toward your hips. What we're going to do here is bring the right knee up close to the bolster, send the left leg long and straight. Now you might want to put your blanket down underneath your knee. You're going to be here for a while. That does feel better to have a blanket there. All right, so the right knee is bent. It's up near the bolster. The left leg is strong and long, and it's resting on a blanket. I'm going to work my right shin a little more parallel to the top of the mat. I'm going to take the block and slip it under my right glutes. That ensures that I keep my hips equidistant to the mat. I'm going to come on down. We're going to stay here for 3 minutes. That's a long time. Going to rest our arms on the bolster, bringing the head down to the arms, the bolster, whatever feels good. You want to feel a big stretch in your backside here as you elongate those muscles in your glutes. Spine is long, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Deep breaths in. Deep relaxing breaths out. You can stay on this bolster, or if it feels comfortable, to come on down without the bolster onto your mat. Do that. Rest your head on your hands. A great image is to send breath to that right hip. Send softness to the shoulders. And your job is to breathe. Unclench your jaws if your teeth are touching. Imagine your belly going down to touch the mat. Take a deep breath in, and your deep breath out. Take another deep cycle of breath, but on this next exhale, really feel the pose to its max. Breathe in, and breathe out. Let the hips totally relax. Feel the sensation in that right hip. And then let's come out of it. All right, that's 3 minutes on that side. We'll do 3 minutes on the other side as well. So press into your arms, tuck your back left toes under, release the block from behind that right hip, and send the right leg out to the side like a donkey kick or a fire hydrant, and just move that leg around. So we kind of are doing for the hips now what we did for the shoulders in that broken wing pose. All right, so I'm going to move the blanket a little bit so I can have it under my right knee now. I'm going to bend my left knee a lot. I'm going to roll the bolster back into the scene here. I'm going to bend my left shin so it's a little straighter toward the bolster. I'm going to place the block under my left set of glutes over here so my hips are equidistant to the mat. Then I'm going to come down for another 3 minutes here. Use your bolster. Rest your head on your hands or your bolsters for as long as feels right. And then after some breaths, maybe you decide to roll the bolster away, or maybe not. Deep breaths. Think of your breath as like a wave of the ocean, starting at your toes, going all the way up, up, up to the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, soften the shoulders. Let that wave just envelop your body. And then maybe when it gets down to the feet, you lengthen that right leg a little bit more. Take it to the depth that feels most comfortable for you. No more, no less. Just about 30 more seconds here. So start playing with your breath again. Taking the full exhale, feeling the fullness of the pose in your hips. One more big breath. Big breath in. Big breath out. That's your sleeping swan on this side. Let's press out of the pose. Come out of it the way you came in. Remove your block. Send your left leg back to meet the right. Shake it out any way that feels good for you. All right. Maybe you're staying in your fish pose. That's great. I'm going to make my way to the wall for a legs up the wall pose. Then we'll have final Shavasana. And same thing here. If you really like the legs up the wall pose, stay there as long as you want. So I'm going to bring a couple things, my blanket, my bolster, and the eye shade or the towel. It's up to you. All right, so scoot on over to a wall. Now, if you don't have a wall nearby, you can do this on a chair. You would sit on the floor and throw your legs up, having your calves on the seat of a chair. All right, so you can do a lot of things. You can put the blanket under your bottom if you like, if that feels good. I'm just gonna sit on the ground and use the blanket to cover my chest. Scoot one hip up to the wall. Send your legs up the wall. Now, I'm gonna cover the blanket on my chest because it feels good. You might like it under your shoulders, just play with how you want it set up. Eye shade can cover the eyes, but before you do that, here's what I'm gonna do with the bolster. You don't have to do this with the bolster. It's a bit of a pain getting it up here, but it feels really good. All right, so legs are up the wall. You can bend them. Place the bolster underneath your feet. Send the bolster up the wall. Draw your toes towards your shins. It's worth the effort. All right. So your feet are a nice stable surface for that bolster. The bolster, what does it do here? I'm setting a 5-minute timer. The bolster keeps your tailbone down. Just feels really, really nice. Give it a go. And once you get it up there, it'll stay. You're covered, eyes are covered. Arms can be down by your sides, palms face up. Face down makes you feel more grounded. Your call. You can cactus your arms, or I guess goalpost would be a nice term to use this time of year. Goalpost your arms. Backs of your hands on your floor. Shoulders feeling pretty good after that broken wing. Maybe you bring the arms up overhead, elbows bent, and you reach your hands for opposite elbow creases. Maybe that feels great. You can totally do this pose without props too. This is a great pose to do before you go to bed at night. It'll help you sleep better. You could just throw your legs up, your headboard, and breathe. I'll let you know when the time is up. Soften in the face. Breathe deeply. And let the pose work its magic. Deepen your breath and come back to just your body in this present moment. Don't drift away. Enjoy the present. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. You can stay here in your legs up the wall pose longer if you like. I'm going to make my way back to my mat to conclude the practice with the final Shavasana. So just come out of it the way you came in. I'm going to bring my legs down. Going to release the bolster. Then I'm going to roll off the wall and come back to the mat. All right, final Shavasana pose. You don't have to have anything at all here, but since it's a restorative day, it's nice to use all our props. I'm going to bring the bolster underneath my knees. So I'm going to put it horizontally underneath my knees. I think that feels really good. You know, another alternative would be to have your ankles or your feet just lifted on it. Cover up with your blanket, however you like. You could even use your blocks. Bring your blocks by your sides, and you can rest your hands on your blocks, your wrists on your blocks, or no blocks at all. You decide what you like. Cover your eyes with your eye shade or your towel. Blanket covered however feels good. Just the weight of the blanket feels nice. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and enjoy your final Shavasana pose. I'll let you know when time is up. And here's what you could do as you nestle in. If you have your remote control nearby, you could hit pause and stay here as long as you like. And then when it's time to resume your practice, you would just hit play again and then join us back on the mat as we wrap up the practice. So enjoy this for a few minutes, and I'll let you know when it's time to finish. Soften the area between your eyebrows. Imagine your cheeks and ears just floating back toward the mat even more. Shoulders are resting down on the mat, away from the ears. Remove the tongue from the roof of your mouth. And let your limbs be heavy as you surrender the spine to the earth. Deepen your breath. Big full breaths in, just like you did when you were on that bolster in your supported fish pose. And big, full, even slower breaths out as you empty all the stale air out of your lungs, making way for new, fresh breath. Maybe begin to sigh it out audibly out your mouth as you exhale. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, then your wrists and your ankles as you bring motion back to them. Inhale, reach your arms up high overhead. Take a big good morning stretch as if it were the first stretch of your day. Breathe in, breathe out. Bend your elbows, bend your knees, just kick your props aside, and then roll onto one side or the other into a fetal position. Use your low arms bicep as a pillow for your head. Soften in the top shoulder, eyes closed. Take a deep breath in, and a big breath out. You are recharged and re-energized. Slowly make your way up to a comfortable seated position. Use your hands or not, just know what you're doing. Be aware. Come to a comfortable seated position, whatever feels good for you. Bring your hands to prayer center for a moment of gratitude to your body for just hanging with the yoga and doing so well. Take a deep breath in, press your thumbs into your chest, lengthen up through your spine. And a deep breath out, soften in your shoulders, let it all go. Gently blink your eyes open. You did it. Congratulations, you did your yoga, 1 hour long. You know, a lot of times people say, oh, restorative's just lying around doing nothing. You couldn't be further from the truth. The joy of living comes from within. The yoga makes you feel really super good in not only your body, but in your mind and your spirit too. It's all good. So as you go on with your day, come back to that stress number. What was it and what is it now? See, it's a lot better. So that tells you something about the value of your yoga. All right, so as you go on with your day, think good thoughts, speak good words, and take good actions. Love you guys. See you on your mats tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, you're a good girl. See ya. You're still here, and I'm really glad for that. Keep this in mind. The path is made through repetition. Keep showing up, and good things will happen. You know that. I'm glad that you're still sticking around. Tell your friends what the yoga is doing for you. Our yoga is free for anybody and everybody on Facebook and YouTube, and they can join in anytime from the privacy of their own home. Tell them about our practice, please. If you'd like to support our broadcast, you can visit our website. It's www.316yoga.com. Stay on your path, enjoy your yoga, and have a great rest of your day. See you on your mats tomorrow.